So here it's the Chicago 7, or frankly the Chicago 8, if you include Bobby Seale. They're on trial, essentially as representatives of the protesters who protested against the Vietnam War before the Democratic Convention in Chicago. And this is, in a sense, certainly as it's represented here, a sham trial. The judge has no interest in hearing what they have to say or their lawyer's angle in any way, shape, or form, and at every step of the way is trying to prevent a fair trial from happening. Particularly for Bobby Seale, who the reason he's not part of the Chicago 7 is because he has a lawyer, but his lawyer wasn't there. I believe he had an injury, if I'm remembering right, and therefore he doesn't have a lawyer present. So he says, I'm not part of this, I can't be part of this, so I don't even have representation. I'm entitled to that. And eventually for him as an individually, it's ordered a mistrial. And this movie is a courtroom drama, and it's you may think, if you look at it at first glance, you think a courtroom drama could potentially be like a bit dull, but most certainly isn't. And it's just got great actors throughout, so it's a real fun movie in the end, and interesting to learn more if you indeed don't know, as I didn't fully know about the trial of the Chicago 7, and it's informative from that angle. I am a sucker for the true stories or based on true stories, and like I'm sure many other people do, I go straight to and checking the true story of the true story and what really happened versus the movie. So for that, this one's a good one for that. Justice, Revolution. Of course, the Chicago 7, along with Bobby Seale, seeking justice. The injustice is quite evident in this depiction here in this movie, particularly for Bobby Seale, who at one point is just literally gagged. I mean, it's uncanny. It's pretty ridiculous. Even the lawyer played by Gordon-Levitt on the other side, he even thinks it's ridiculous. So justice is a big theme here. And revolution. This is the revolution. It's a movie that definitely works well in the sense that you always think when you have movies that are period pieces, how can it relate to today? And it's quite easy to see how this could. For example, sometimes, and that should be in any movie to me, if you go back, it could be a movie about the dawn of time. It could be a movie from the Roman conquest or Alexander the Great. You got to somehow relate it to how people think and look at things today. And this movie does that very well. So this one comes from Sacha Baron Cohen. When an argument ensues about what's the best angle to go in protest, and he says, "It's revolution time. We may have to hurt someone's feelings." So at one point they're thinking about they have to have one of the 7 represent and take the stand as a witness. And to everyone, the obvious choice is Tom Hayden with his leadership. And Abby Hoffman is on the hippie end of it all and is comical and mocks the judge, who happens to also be called Hoffman, which that's a funny little scene as well in there when that's noticed. But he was not necessarily the obvious choice to take the stand because of the way he delivers his message, but he does take the stand. It's excellent. It works wonderfully. It's a great scene. Sacha Baron Cohen, who plays Abby Hoffman, does excellent in it. That's one of the highlight scenes in the movie. So I mentioned him there in the best scene. just because if you look at his body of work, and I was just recently going back and looking as far back as things like Ali G, obviously Borat, and now that's getting even more recognition. Sacha Baron Cohen, I think he's great in this. Does his accent drift a bit? It certainly does, in my opinion, but it doesn't take away from the performance. That's almost why it's so great. I don't really care how he's supposed to sound or not. Hopefully you can let me off the hook when I do my impressions with that too, because sometimes I'm botching them. But I thought he did a really great performance amongst so many excellent actors. He still stood out to me, so I thought that was a wonderful effort from him. I'm going to go with I really enjoyed this. It flew by. It was excellent. It was intriguing, surprising. It most certainly was not boring. So it's definitely worth a look. I understand why it's getting awards buzz. So, an I. A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson. It's just the tension in there is great. It's a different kind of movie, different kind of situation, but still for the courtroom situation, I think that's a good one to take a look at. It's always a classic when you hear him say, "You can't handle the truth." So take a peek at that one if you haven't seen that for some reason. Get to France. So the reason we say that is literally, if you're in Scotland, for example, oh, you're really annoying, go far away. So France, for example, so get to France. So the judge in this, I mean, he was just so ridiculous. I feel like I'll get to France with that. So that's a little replacement word to soften up maybe another word that you might use instead of it. So if anyone's really coming with some ridiculousness, tell them to get to France. Boekasha, it's a revolution. Know what I mean? In it, me may have to hurt someone's feelings in it. What's that?